Hi there. Welcome to this continuing series of talks about sustaining yourself. And this is a special edition about growth, the most essential ingredient of self-sustainability. Now, just to remind you, what do we mean by this sustainability path? Well, let me tell you, it is the most complete and most important path at life at this time on earth because it is the way of life. And what do I mean by the way of life to sustain yourself? It means to live abundantly, healthfully, happily, wealthfully, and wisely for a long, long time. And we all want that. And this path is holistic, it's active, and it's multidimensional. Because in a way, when you follow this sustainability path, the hard word to say sometimes, map and way of life, it's at the same time a spiritual path, a personal growth map, it's a business plan. It kind of serves as your health coach, your love advisor. It does many, many, many things because it's universal to the way of life, to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise for a long, long time. And the really good news is that we can do it. You can do it, I can do it, because it is doable, because it is natural. And we are nature. It is based upon the great natural principles of life and of ever renewing life to be sustainable again and again and again. Now again, today's talk is about growth. Growth as the most important aspect of sustaining yourself. Now when we talk about growth, we're talking about four different kinds of growth. There is essentially adaptive growth. Adaptive growth is the kind of growth that we all go through, or at least we have to stay viable in the world, sustainable, if you will, by making changes. And because life is changing, the world is changing. And if you don't change, you are old, you are antiquated, you are dead, essentially. You are not sustainable. And if you keep doing the same old thing, the same old way, the repetition, it's the repetition that kills us and the entropy that comes out of that and the comfort zone we get into of just habitually going along. I call it death by comfort. So if you're not busy changing, like Bob Dylan said, you're busy dying. And we need to know that. And when you're changing, and you know, we all kind of like, oh God, do I have to change? Do I have to do this? Do I have to Twitter now? Do I have to do social media? You know, with all these kinds of things. Instead of saying, oh no, think of it as a growth change, that by developing new skills, that we're actually growing ourselves, becoming more of who we can be and more of who we should be. And in this day and age, it's all about personal diversity, having multiple talents, a lot of diverse qualities and abilities, options. So we need those. We need those to resource, to dig deep into our own inner resources, which are various and many. And so changing in an adaptive way gives us access to those different skills which we need to survive and survive well and thrive in today's world. So that's adaptive change, and we all have to be doing that. But think of it as growth, adaptive growth change, if you will. Now, there's the other extreme of kind of growth is what I call destiny growth. Now, destiny growth is when you absolutely know who you are meant to be and you grow yourself to live your apotheosis, your highest expression of yourself. And that's what nature does. And I'm sitting here before this beautiful cactus plant. And nature, like whether it's animals or plants, all life forms, organic life forms, know who they are and who they're meant to be. They know their destiny. And because they know their destiny, they fulfill it, because nature, the life force, the way of life is to pull you along. We call it future pull. It's being pulled by the life force to live your highest expression. And then we have the great universe on our side, the greatest ally we could possibly have, we kind of relax and let it happen along with our own efforts, of course. Destiny growth. I will tell you, for those of you who really want to sustain well and long, that is a vital, vital principle, to keep looking, searching, exploring your destiny. And ultimately, when you find it, let it pull you along. That is really amazing growth. Then there's a third kind of growth. The third kind of growth I call goal growth. This is the growth that we all undertake to grow any endeavor in our life, whether it be I want to grow my business, I want to grow a relationship, I want to grow a garden, even. You know, goal growth is where we have a goal and we're growing ourselves to achieve those kinds of goals, and we all do that. And then there's a fourth kind of growth, which I called inner growth. So you may be on the track of doing well in your love life or your business life and healthy and all that kind of stuff, but there may be parts of you that need to grow and develop, because none of us are really absolutely perfect. It is about inner growth at some level, and that is a very, very rich form of growth that sometimes is not noticed by others because it's not achieving some tangible goal out there in the world. It's about an inner process of becoming a more full, a more whole, and more complete human being. And what's interesting about growth, though, and we probably need to and actually activate all four elements of growth, four ways of growth, but there's a way to do this, and that's universal to all four ways of growth. I mean, how do you grow, whether it's a goal growth, an inner growth, a destiny growth, or an adaptive growth? How do you do that? Follow nature. Look and see how trees and plants grow. You know, a lot of times people say, well, what does that have to do with me? Well, hey, we are nature. In fact, if you look at the cross-section of a DNA molecule with your human eye, you will see the DNA of this plant, of a worm, of a bird, of any organic living element on Earth. You'll see that it's exactly the same as our own DNA to the human naked eye. And as a matter of fact, did you know, this is my favorite thing, that of the trillions of cells that compose us, in fact, only 10% of the cells, of our cells, are actually indigenously, natively human. The rest are cells we have when we come out of the birth canal, out of the womb. We immediately take on all the microbes and the bacteria and all the stuff that's flying around from this plant, from the air, from everywhere. So only 10% of us actually natively human. The rest of us is nature. And that's why this path is doable, because we are nature and it's natural to be able to sustain. But we need a map. And the map for this growth, for this sustainability, is nature. And right in front of us, we have this incredible cactus plant. It's, I call it my cactus flower muse. This is a plant, this cactus, that's come with me for years. With all the moves that I make, it comes with me. And it looks kind of scraggly, but does it flower beautifully? And it only flowers once a year, and only for a few days. And when I saw these flowers come out the other day, I said, aha, this is the time to be talking about using a plant as the model for our own personal and professional and sustainable growth. So let's take a look at the elements. And these are the elements and principles you need to utilize. You absolutely have to utilize these principles of growth from nature in order to be successful in your growth endeavors. It's imperative. It's essential. There is no choice. You have to do it this way. So let's take a look at this plant. Now, plants all start with a seed. A seed. Now, they actually have a physical seed, and so do we. But as humans, with our brain and our intelligence and all that kind of stuff, we start, when we want to achieve a goal or grow something, with an actual concept. A concept. An idea. A thought. A concept. And a concept is also a picture, a vision, of what we want to achieve. So it's a thought, and it's a picture. And actually, this plant, living its destiny growth, knows inwardly, it has an inner eye, if you will, an inner brain. It doesn't really think about it, but instinctively it knows how to grow itself from the seed that it is. But we have to think it, and we have to see it, visualize it with our inner eye, and to achieve that growth, to make our visions and our ideas of the seed concept come true, we not only have to see it and think it, we have to feel it. You've got to be motivated. You've got to bring the heart, the motor, the fuel for the road in order to achieve this concept, to grow into it if we want. And not only do we need to feel it and want it and be motivated and inspired to do it, we also need to believe it. And that's where a lot of us kind of crap out. Is, yeah, I can see it, and I know what it's about, and yes, I want it, but I'm not sure I believe it. I kind of doubt it. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I can. Do I have the time? Blah, 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 blah. If you don't believe, forget it. It's not really going to happen or happen very well at all. So those are the 4 keys to taking a seed concept into total harvest and fruition completion. And that is, I see it, I feel it, I believe it, and ultimately, I gotta do it. And we're getting to that part about it. So here we have the seed concept, and of course, it's seeds are seeds. I mean, a concept is a concept. So at some point, we have to plant it. We have to plant it. Now, and that's what we have. The seed is planted in the soil. Now, when we plant our idea and our concept and our picture, our vision coming into reality through growth, we have to commit to it. And that's what I mean by plant it, is really commit to it. Like, okay, I am going to do this. I am going to grow this vision into reality. You have to commit to that. And the easiest and best and simplest, it may not be the highest way in the world to do it, but this is a proven method. If you really want to have your commitment stay, if you will, and sustain the commitment, tell another person. Tell another person. That's why we have so many coaches. Get a coach. Pay a coach. Invest in yourself. When you're paying something for something, the chances are you're going to do it. When you tell somebody you're going to do it, chances are you're going to do it. If you have a support group, a support team, a circle, chances are you're going to do it because other people know about it. Because it's just too easy to lie to ourselves, to rationalize our procrastinations. So that's the first and most important thing, to commit. And secondly, to plant that concept into leading to ultimate fruition, not only the commitment, but we need to have the right environment. Like this beautiful cactus flowering plant grows because it grows in the right environment. It has soil, it has air, it has water, it has light. It has fire, it's got the sun. So that's what we need. We need a supportive environment. If your seed concept is to grow into completion and fruition, into harvest, it's got to be the right environment. So it's hard to make changes, hard to grow anything if it's done in a place that is not supportive of what you are up to and want to do. If you're trying to do something that's different, you have to be very positive. If you're in a negative environment where you get a lot of naysayers, that is not the right soil to grow in. It's just like a plant. We have to find the right environment. Really, really, really pay attention to that. So we have the seed idea, vision, and then, we have this commitment, this planting that we do. And once we plant, this plant has tremendous number of roots that go deep down into the earth. And we all need to do the root work, which is really the homework. The homework. It's not glamorous. It's in the dirt. You can get dirty. It's kind of, homework is really getting, in many cases, the knowledge that we need to gain, to learn in order to grow our vision into completion. Sometimes we have to learn new stuff. We have to maybe take some classes in something. And a lot of homework is also about self-assessment, looking at yourself and the great parts about yourself, of course, and the kind of shadow parts of yourself. That stuff that we hide under the rug, or in this case, in the dirt, stuff we don't really want to look at. But if you really want to be successful at achieving, growing your goals, you've got to look at that shadow side, the part of you that you're in denial of, don't want to look at, because that will stop you. It's like having a critter, a bug, a germ, something can come along and kill this plant. A lot of times with us humans, it's not only external situations, but it's our own inner stuff that gets in the way of success. The homework takes time, and it's really not glamorous. It's digging in, getting the fundamentals, doing the due diligence of yourself and what you're about, and having the right stuff to be able to do it. Oh boy, rooting. Okay, now once you've done the rooting, what happens? Like with this plant again, whoa, all of a sudden, boom, these things, these sprouts sprout out. You know, they just come out. The flowers just come out. They sprout out. So yes, you've rooted, but at some point, you gotta expose. You have to share. You have to show what you're all about, what this growth is all about, what this change is all about. You can't keep it under the dirt forever. It's about being out in the world. So it's a time of coming out, come out, whoever you are. And that takes a lot of courage. It's not easy to come out. And a lot of times courage is really about trust. Trusting that you can do it, you are doing it, it's good enough, and not doubting and not vilifying and criticizing yourself, trusting the life force that you put all this root work and seed work, into this, trusting that it is going to happen. But a lot of times we're afraid to come out, and it's a struggle. It is definitely not easy. Not easy. Birthing, a child coming out of the womb, that's not easy. You look at these little flowers come out of the earth, it's not easy. It's a struggle. It's a fight, and you better be combative. And I mean, it's like a spiritual warrior. It takes guts to follow your gut. It takes heart to follow your heart. So, man, you've got to trust. You've got to have courage. You've got to be a fighter, if you will. To come out, and share your wealth, share your growth, because that's what life is all about. It's all about exchange, collaboration, symbiosis. It takes a team. It takes diversity. It takes all of everything to allow us to achieve what we personally want to achieve in life. But in order to do that, we have to show up and show off and share, if you will. So that takes tremendous energy to be able to do that, is to sprout. Now, once you come out and you've sprouted, very cool, now you need to maintain. Like the trunk of the tree. I'm not sure where the trunks are of this cactus plant. I guess it's right here. Ooh, the trunk. And the trunk of the tree is what we're doing to maintain the growth, or to keep going, if you will. It's that time of, okay, we've come out, we're doing the do here, and we have to keep it going. We have to keep, and a lot of times, like a tree has growth rings. A lot of times it's just going around and around the same old thing again and again and again and again. It is about maintaining. It's about finding an efficient way that works, and to keep working it. You've got to keep working it, and repeat it, and repeat it, and repeat it. You've got to find that sweet spot where you can really cruise and keep it going. Almost put yourself a little bit on automatic pilot, because we can't be making a new decision, a new sprouting, every moment all the time. We need to find a way that works and keep working it, work it. The trunk of the tree. Whoa. And that's really good, but sometimes people get caught in that kind of maintenance cycle of just repeating, and again, there's a lot of what I call death by repetition. It's too much of the same, and so a lot of us, we get stuck in that. But if you want to follow the growth path, and this is the universal growth path for any kind of growth, we have to branch out. We cannot keep just this one trunk kind of thing. We need to branch out. Look at all the branches in this beautiful cactus plant. I love this plant. I really, it's my greatest teacher, and I love to look at her, and I love to learn from her. And oh, the branches, the branching out. So we always need to be on the move. Growth is a movement process of constantly extending, constantly learning, constantly growing, constantly reaching out, trying this, looking at that, developing this, cultivating that. If you're not doing that, you are stuck. You are a one-trunk pony. I guess if that's a concept, like a one-trick pony. So branching out. So how are you branching out? You know, we've got to do it professionally. I will tell you, professionally, for sure. And personally, we have to keep branching out if you want to keep growing. Okay, you can keep branching. You can keep maintaining and all that. Now you need to complete. You need to get it done. Reach fruition. The harvest. Complete, complete, complete. And there are a lot of times we don't do that. In our day and age of new and different, distraction is our nemesis. And patience, what do you mean? I don't have time for that. There's always something else new to do. Oh, cool, let's try that. And a lot of times we forget, we ignore what we started. We do not finish. We are not finishers. We are not completers. And that's the whole growth cycle, is we're doing all of this to get it done, to have the flowers, to have the blossoms, to have the fruit. This is the payoff of the journey. I can't tell you the number of people who start stuff and kind of maintain stuff who never finish. What an unfulfilling, unwhole life. That is really not growth. What's the point? That's an abortion. That's a truncated lifestyle. And nobody wants that. To sustain yourself, you need to grow it into its full ripeness, its full fruition, and then harvest. Like I'm harvesting this right now. I'm taking this plant that I've been growing and taking care of for many years now. And now here it is, and I am taking this and sharing it with you and showing you how this plant, all plants, all trees are our greatest teachers on how to live the sustainable life. So that's the fun part. The fun part is actually the completion, but that's a busy, busy part. I mean, that's not particularly easy. You just can't cruise and harvest. You go to any vineyard, and I'll tell you, harvest season or any wheat field or any kind of crop where it's harvest, that is a busy, busy time. And you can't be afraid to take it to the marketplace and sell it. I mean, it's all about, life is about trade. It's about exchange. And the more you complete, the more you put out, the more it comes back to you, and the more sustainable you are. And that's really great, the completion, the fruition, the flowers. But you know what happens next. And this is part of the growth cycle. Something's got to die. It's a letting go. It's a releasing. There's actually one of these flowers, I don't know if you could see it back here, came out. Can't you see it? I'm wagging it a little. It's dying. It's wilted down. It was came out last week. But part of the growth cycle is letting go. Like leaves let go of trees. Let go of leaves. Plants let go of their flowers and die. I mean, in order for there to be new life, there needs to be death. For there to be new seeding and reseeding, which has to happen for growth. Growth is a continuous cycle. And that continuous cycle always includes death, a letting go. And when that plant, when that flower falls to the ground, its seeds are down there maybe. It happens in a lot of trees. The nuts fall to the ground, become the seeds for the new life. So don't be afraid to let go, release. At some point, I mean, there might be aspects, let's say, of a relationship where you have to kind of let go of what used to be working, but not now. In business, sometimes you have to let go and change. That was nice back then, but not now. Boy, I'll tell you, and a lot of times we are holder-oners. I don't want to let go, because we're afraid. We do not trust. Every time you exhale, that's a death. You're letting out. And we are trusting, however, that the new breath is going to come in. But for there to be new breath, new life, there has to be the letting go of the old life, kind of a small death, if you will. So there you go anyway, folks. There is the whole growth cycle. So the next time you have to make a change, the next time you're looking to achieve a goal, the next time you want to grow something inside yourself, the next time you're really going after your destiny, think of your friendly plant. I think everybody should have a pet plant or a pet tree. What a great thing. And use that plant. Use nature. Nature is the greatest map and mentor and motivator for new life and renewed life that we absolutely have. Nature knows how to sustain, how to renew in all complete ways. So nature is our teacher. I am so happy to share with you my great teacher. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you and talk to you next time about Sustain Yourself, the way of life, which is the most totally alive way to be in the world if you really want to live and live well and live long. Absolutely. Okay. Bye-bye.